been a minute. It's actually been 2 months. You guys are probably wondering, am I quitting this YouTube channel? And, yeah. Yeah, I am. Nah, I'm just kidding with you. Of course I'm not quitting. Um, but I do think I owe you guys a bit of an explanation as to why I haven't uploaded anything on this channel in literally 2 months. And don't worry, I'll get there. I suggest you get some popcorn though, because it's quite a long story. Okay, so let's explore reason number one. College. Oh man. I made some bad decisions with college this semester. So if you guys know anything about college, or you've been in college, then you'll know that summer classes are generally harder than fall, winter, or spring classes. Wait, fall and winter classes are the same. Why would I say that? But during the fall and the spring, you get longer classes because the summer semester is shorter, which means the summer's classes are in general harder. Now, I didn't really experience that last year when I got into dual enrollment college last summer because A, it was dual enrollment, so I could only take 2 classes, and B, both of those classes were very laid back. I only had a college orientation course and an electrical wiring course that really we just spent time there and learned. I mean, it wasn't like I wouldn't say it really had that much of a curriculum. I mean, it did, but it wasn't the most. It wasn't hard. Okay, that's the point. It was super laid back. But this year round, I had graduated a year early, so I was able to go into college full time for this semester. So I chose to have 3 classes this semester, and all of them were the remaining prerequisites for my what do you call it? I had like the dumbest brain fart ever. Um, for my degree, I decided to finish off my prerequisites for my degree, and so I did. I took all 3 of the remaining prerequisite classes because up till now, I'd been doing 1 prerequisite course and 1 actually like not grade, 1 actual like related course to my major. So that's how I'd been doing things. But now I took all the remaining prerequisites. So after that, I'm gonna be able to just go and just studying my major. None of that boring other stuff. The issue for this was that every single one of these classes was almost entirely online. Except for 1 that had, I mean, well, 2 of them were completely online. 1 was a speech class that I had to meet in person to give my speeches, obviously. So, I had a history class, a ethics class, and a speech class. And, you know, start of semester, things were feeling good. I had gotten a couple uploads out because, like, I had just uploaded my sister's birthday animation I've been working on. I had just gotten back from Iceland. Things were looking good, you know? And then I decided to, right before week 1 began, I decided to check up on the class schedules. And I found out that the teachers did, like, the most annoying thing ever. Normally, from what I know, classes are supposed to start on the day the college schedule says they start on. But apparently the teachers didn't roll with that, so they started all the classes a week early. So I was screwed. So I spent the entire month under pressure in all the classes because I was trying to make up for almost an entire week of, like, I mean, I didn't get very many, like, super late assignments, but I basically lost like 5 days of time and spent the entire semester trying to push back and regain that time. So June was a nightmare. Overall though, I didn't really have much of a hard time. It was just I didn't have time. There was so much material for me to get through. So I didn't like any of my classes, even though 2 out of 3 of those were very enjoyable subjects. And overall, during that semester, or not semester, but the first half of the semester, grades were pretty good. I'd started out pretty bad in English because, uh, not English. I keep calling history English. It's world history. I have no freaking clue when my brain interprets that as English. Like, every single time, I kid you not, my brain is like, English literature. Like, no! No, it's world history. What the heck is wrong with you? I tell you, I'm so weird. I don't get it. But, anyways, um, grades were pretty good there after I had a bit of a learning curve because I'm homeschooled and I'm very unused to writing very long essays because that's more of a public school thing. That wasn't something that wasn't really in my curriculum. But I was able to adapt surprisingly quickly to it, especially considering that the subject material was history. I am like a history nerd, so if there's one thing I can geek out about and write long things about, um, history would be one of those things. So I didn't have much trouble there, and I got good grades. Not great grades, but good grades, like B's. Ethics class, I got consistent A's because, I mean, it's literally just sharing your opinions, and I would continuously have, like, good lines of reasoning for the subjects that we were talking about. Even, like, you can disagree with some of my opinions in there, I'm sure plenty of people would. But anytime I talked about it, I loved to talk about it from a logical perspective. And one thing I really enjoy doing, because it's like super fun to do, is go through it. Basically, I like to split kind of into two different perspectives. A purely logical perspective that basically is meant to be unbiased towards any particular religion and rely purely on human logic. Like, from my point of view, though, you can logically confirm Christianity. Well, not all Christian denominations, because a lot of them preach some bull crap, but the Bible, at least, to be true. However, considering that there are so many different religions, I kind of want to have a line of thinking that is more secular and not really biased in any way towards like any particular religion. So I like to think in two different lines of reasoning. My own line of reasoning based on my religion, which is what I consider to be the most logical perspective, and then my less logical, but like my secular perspective. So I would constantly talk. I would like every so often when I saw one of these more interesting things, I would discuss both of these lines of reasoning, and I think that definitely earned me points with the teacher. And I think that's pretty cool. I think it's kind of fun. It is very fun to do that. I know it's super nerdy, super weird. Why would you do that? But I really do like to logically think about ethics. It's so fun. You should try it. So I was getting really good grades in there. But speech class is the real problem I had for this semester. During June, things weren't that bad until the first speech was scheduled, and that was the demonstrative speech. Now, me, having a great intellect and an amazing brain, I decided to use my amazing intellect to choose the most fascinating subject possible, a video game. So I decided to discuss a well, I don't know about high level, but a moderately, I don't know about high level, a moderate level, I guess, strategy that I had come up with for the game Age of Empires, and I don't think I made much of a good impression. Firstly, I relied super heavily on my PowerPoint presentation for the speech. I didn't really do any eye contact, and I left out parts of my introduction and conclusion, and I was just so, in general, awkward. I just, like, it really sucked, and it wasn't relatable. There was only one guy in there who had played Age of Empires before me, and he hadn't played in ages. Get it? Age of Empires. Ages. Bad joke, sorry. So, that was a pretty bad round. I didn't think it was too bad, considering that there was literally, like, there was this one girl who came up, had a decent PowerPoint, but she, like, barely spoke a word. She was she would, like, mumble, like, yeah, this, mm, uh, um, She would like mumble something. She didn't have any words, it sounded like, prepared. Or if she did, she completely forgot them. Like, I kid you not, I saw this girl like one time for this speech, and then bam, first speech gone, just gone, never came back. And to be honest, I think she made the right decision because my speech, which is far better than hers, tanked. Absolutely tanked my grade. Went from a B to a D. I got a failure squared grade on that. Freaking 43%. Like, for crying out loud, less than 60% a failure. I got failure squared. Although I bet that girl probably got failure cubed. Maybe even like failure ascended to the next dimension. That would be that's not, I don't know about that. I don't think she quite ascended to the failure dimension yet. But nevertheless, I do think she made a wise decision to wait for another semester. Anyways, good luck to this random woman. Hopefully she'll have better luck next time. Anyways, me being the stubborn guy that I am, I decided not to drop out and that I was gonna just do better. And I did. All throughout July, things were pretty good. Thanks to me finally being able to catch up, thanks to a very short break for Independence Day. Because America, yay, freedom. What we have left of it. And this led me to be able to catch up on my assignments. And finally, I was able to enjoy my history and ethics classes. Really actually enjoy them. And I learned a lot of different things. I learned a lot of Chinese history. And a bit more about the bubonic plague. And, I learned quite a bit. There was obviously a lot of boring yapping. Like, towards the start of the semester, I wasn't very passionate about learning about fake history. But I'm not going to talk about that. Anyways, I did enjoy later on because of actual facts, and oh my word, it was so fun. But speech was not fun. The next speech I had to give was an informative speech. And I chose a much better topic this time around. Much more relatable and something that was much more in my field of influence. Animation, the 12 steps of animation specifically. And I think I did a great job preparing my PowerPoint that wasn't required for this one speech. It was the one speech that didn't need a PowerPoint. In fact, the teacher said that she had been originally planning to ban PowerPoints for this speech, and she wanted us to use our words and no PowerPoint. Thankfully, however, she had forgotten to say so and had just said that you did not need one. So I was able to use the PowerPoint, which is good because in my work on my PowerPoint, I had managed to forget to memorize the speech. So I entirely winged it, which actually turned out to be probably a good thing because thanks to my improvisation, I was able to be a little bit less formal, which actually probably lost me points with the teacher. But hey, I felt better. I was able to crack a few jokes, and they were actually funny, surprisingly. And yeah, honestly, the performance went up massively. It was like, if I was the teacher, I would have looked at this, and even if I was like a very mean teacher, I would have been like, yeah, whatever, I'll give you a D on it. Now, if I was a nice teacher, I would probably give it like a minimum a C. Maybe even a B. No, probably not a B. That's probably going too far. I think a B is too far, but personally, I would give myself a B on speech for normal people, because let's be for real, everyone sucks at talking these days. Well, actually, I don't think that's true, but a lot of people do. Some of you lucky ducks out there have no problem with it. Wish I was. Well, actually, I don't really wish I was you. I just wish I could do that. Wish I was more like you in that particular way. Anyways, so I definitely did a lot better on that speech. And this led me to the final boss of the speeches. The persuasive speech. Yay. Now, if you guys know me, going into persuasive speaking is like taking me as a fish and putting me in a desert. Like the moment I get into a voice chat or start talking with anyone in like a debateful manner, all of my fire just dies. I don't know why. I think it's probably some sort of stupid survival strategy that I hate. Cause like a lot of times I know what I'm talking about, and then but then like my automatic response is to freeze up, which is a part of the reason why I kind of hate automatic responses of my body to these sorts of things. It really ticks me off because I could do a lot better if they just weren't inhibiting me. It only drives me a little insane. But that's besides the point. Aside from me being worried about this, I finally settled. I was gonna pick a more sensitive. I wanted to like pick something radical, something like really politically charged, something interesting. And then I decided, you know what? Maybe don't do that for your first persuasive speech. Maybe I should pick something a little more reasonable. So I decided to discuss the problem with our prison systems. I don't think it's much secret that our prison systems kind of suck, but I had no idea until I actually started doing the research for the speech how much they suck. They are more violent, more dirty, and like worse basically in every way than I thought they were. For one thing, allegedly, this hasn't been confirmed, but guards have allegedly, on multiple occasions, encouraged prisoners to fight. And there's too many cases of guards attacking prisoners and just absolutely brutalizing them. It's kind of insane. But then on top of that, prisoners are basically being used for slave labor. And they don't even really stop. The prisons don't rehabilitate their people. I kid you not. I looked at the statistics, and over 40%, I believe, if that's, I do believe that's what it said. Over 40% of prisoners get back into prison in less than a year after they were released. That is ridiculous. Like compare that to like I think it was Norway had like that same like but I think it had like 20% after 5 years or something like that. Kind of insane just how bad our prison system is. So I gave a speech on that, talking about how much it sucks. And I think I did a good job until we got to the reforms part. And then I kind of, I mean, then I had to defend my own ideals instead of tear down someone else's. And this is where I became unconfident. Because now I'm presenting my own idea in front of other people instead of using what I know, obviously, to be logical. But obviously, I'm inexperienced, so I'm kind of worried my own prison system that I've designed will have flaws. So I'm a little bit more subconsciously worried about that. But I think I did fine in that regard. And I moved on. The only issue that I really had was the death penalty. Because at the time, in the speech, I was originally arguing for the death penalty. But then as I researched, I kind of changed opinions and started believing against the death penalty. And so here I was in the middle of a speech. I had already committed to arguing for the death penalty, but my heart was completely not in it. So I was completely unconvincing. And the one piece of feedback that I got from someone mentioned this, that they disagreed with my opinion. And I was like, I was just kind of like, yeah, valid. I no longer hold that opinion. Essentially, I was researching, and so like my opinion was very new. But I don't hold that opinion. I do actually believe the death penalty is definitely the right action in a lot of cases. But the problem with the death penalty is it's given out way too easily. But other than that, the problem I think is really just that our law institutions are very corrupt. Still, at the time, I did not. My heart was not in it, so I did a pretty crappy job at defending that ideal. And overall, I felt like the speech was moderate. Personally, I didn't. I felt like I was a bit more serious on that speech, and parts of it was kind of wishy-washy. I think in parts of it I was better than in any of the other speeches, and parts of it were worse than the uh, animation speech. So I think I did overall pretty average. But I had included multiple citations, which were required, and I had like been looking at the requirements and was like, "Oh, you want citations?" So in this speech, I actually did what was required, or part of it, because for some reason, I kid you not, like half the sources were supposed to be sourced from the library, and I looked at the library and was like, "How the frick am I gonna do that?" Because I kid you not, I did not know what to look for. But I still did provide a decent number of sources. So I did better, but quite frankly, for an entry-level class, that was too many. That was like 3 sources too many, man. Woman. The teacher is a woman. Okay, well, that wasn't a funny joke. Anyways, I wasn't graded on either of these speeches until, like I don't know, a few days ago, like maybe 5 days, maybe a week ago or something like that. And well, I didn't fail any of the classes. I honestly was expecting to fail my speech class. That I honestly felt like my grades had been so harsh in these speeches that I thought I was gonna get dragged down. Like my B's and everything else were gonna get dragged down to a F just by my speeches. And quite frankly, I feel like this teacher was unintentionally very snobbish because this felt like I was supposed to be a professional speaker, when in the meantime I am literally like an early college student that does not know what the frick he's doing. As were plenty of the other people. Well, they weren't 17, and I doubt they were early college students. Actually, most of the people there, I'm pretty sure, were later in their degrees, because most people don't want to take speech class until the very end. They want to procrastinate it. I didn't want to, though. But most of the people there were only average performers. I think, all things considered, throughout most of the classes, I think I was kind of mostly the middleman. Kind of in the middle, maybe a little bit higher than the middle in the last 2 speeches. In the first speech, I would give myself more or less a middle of the class level, because there were so many bad people at the speeches that got rooted out after the first grades came in for the first speech. After that, though, I think my animation speech was prepared. Well, the PowerPoint was prepared well enough, and I was familiar enough with the subject that I think I did a pretty good job there. But I didn't fail any of the classes, and I got a D in speech, which sucks. But I didn't fail the class, so I don't have to retake it, because there was no required grade for it other than just not failing. Thankfully for my degree. So I made it. Amazing, right? So despite it being by far the hardest semester yet, I did actually successfully make it through without any significant detractions, other than not being able to upload any animations. So that's the number one reason why I haven't been uploading on this channel. But that leads me to my second reason. Because actually I did upload multiple videos during this time, but not on this channel. You see, for a long time, ever since I owned the old channel, or ran the old channel with my siblings, Lizard, and ever since I've been on this channel, I have been trying to juggle multiple different spheres of influence. I've been trying to play multiple games, do different things. For instance, like, I've done reaction videos, Minecraft videos, I've done Age of Empires videos, I've done animations. I mean, I've done so many different things. I even did Minecraft Dungeons on the old channel. And I've tried to juggle all of that on one singular channel. And I'm just realizing this is getting cluttered. There's too much unrelated content on one channel. And I mean, it's nice to have some variety, you know? But it's a little too much variety. But you know what most big creators will do? Is they'll make new channels once they get big enough, and they'll start posting different things over there. They'll like have different areas, like a channel for gaming, a channel for like normal things they do, or a channel for other such things. And I realized, oh yeah, I can do that. I can go and create multiple channels and have them be for their own thing. So what I did during the semester was I took another one of my accounts and made 2 new channels on it. My gaming channel, my normal gaming channel for things like Minecraft and now Roblox. And I made my strategy game channel, which, seeing as the only strategy game I really am interested in creating content about is Age of Empires, I made an Age of Empires channel. And so now I have 2 new channels, and that is where I've been uploading for the past 2 months. The reason why I haven't gotten any new videos is because animations take a long time, and if you've noticed, I've renamed the channel to Insanity Animations, and this is because I intend to only post animations on here now. So, reasonably, when you have a very busy life, uploads that require a lot of work and time to make will take a lot of time. So I'm quite a busy person, and as a result, I just haven't really been able to post much of anything while also posting the other stuff. So basically, the reason why I haven't uploaded is because I have created 2 different channels and been uploading on those, and animation-wise, I've kind of been too cramped for time to really animate. So that is why I haven't uploaded on this channel, quite simply and quite frankly. I would have made actually more channels because there are other areas of influence that I want to talk to, and I've actually decided, I think I'm going to go back to the old channel, Lizard. I think I'm going to rebrand it, and I think I'm going to turn it into a more or less like discussion channel where I talk about things such as politics, theology, science, and other such interesting stuff. And I might not do that, but that is something I am toying with as of now. But right now, if you guys are interested, you can go check out my 2 new channels, Insanity Plays and Insanity Age of Empires 1. And yeah, that's really all I have to see. That's all I have to say. I am working on multiple animations right now, so you should get an upload, hopefully before September's over. Well, actually, you will get an why did I say September? You will definitely get an upload before August is over. Hopefully more than 1, but I can't promise that. Anyways, I guess that's all I really have to tell you guys, so, thank you for watching, and I'll see you nerds in the next one. Later, nerds.